I'll get to your Thursday complimentary selection in just a moment. Last night, easy free winner because you saw West Virginia paid $40,000 to host a first-round CBI game, and the Mountaineers took care of business and got their money's worth with the win and cover against Grand Canyon, as the Antelope found that what the hell were they thinking of when they decided to take that game and travel from downtown Phoenix to Morgantown in the middle of March. You had to wonder, really? Was it worth it? Anyway, your complimentary play for Thursday, as I said, coming up in just a moment. I hope you've enjoyed this week getting the brackets for the handicappers here at the site. I started doing this about 12 years ago. Listen, personally speaking, I've always done exceptionally well with brackets come tournament time because, listen, unlike most guys, I've been following these teams since November. Not just casually, but very intensely. Because I can tell you what's been going on with the Vermonts and the Murray States and the Fairleigh Dickinsons of the world. Because I've seen them play. I've handicapped their games for many, many months. I'm not one of these guys, many of them in the media, who have to immediately go online and go, Murray State, they're from what conference? Oh, they've won all these games? Oh, they've got this guy who's going to be a first-round draft pick in the NBA? Really? Or Belmont? They're from where? Outside of Nashville? Wow, they beat Temple the other night? I'm shocked. You shouldn't have been. No, that's the advantage when you do this day in, day out, as I have. And that's what is an inherent advantage at this time of year when you're filling out your brackets. Even most guys in the media really don't have that type of edge. So, I generally do very well at this time of the year filling out brackets, as I said. And I think the majority of the handicappers do too. So I hope you've enjoyed downloading the brackets and taking a look at the games. In terms of the hot handicapper, guys, if you have not made a boatload of bucks here following Jack Brayman, shame on you. He's going for a 12th straight winning day over the past 11 days. I believe he's made $10 bettors, a little over $9,400. Think about that. The past 11 days, $10 bettors have made a little over $9,400. He's won 9 straight 109 best bets in that stretch, including last night's on Arizona State. Today, the 15th ever 209 double your wager release of his career. It goes on the afternoon card at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Kansas and Northeastern. It's his 200 college basketball winner, number 11 out of 15. You get it as the half price play of the day by using coupon code 200DIMER, 200DIMER. All your other discounts and coupon codes are over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary play. I'm going to take a look at the game between Gonzaga and Fairleigh Dickinson, or as we used to call it in the old days, Fairly Ridiculous. So, quick story for you. So, back in the old days, back in the 80s, my first job out of college, I was working for an organization called Dial Sports. And boys and girls, before the internet, before we had all these wonderful modes of communications, when you used to want to get the scores, when you used to want to get the odds, you used to call a 976 number and pay anywhere from 5 to 15 cents a minute. I know that sounds so crazy, but that's what gamblers used to do. So it was 976-1313, and it was located in about 15 different cities, and there was a national number as well. So I mainly helmed the Philadelphia service at that time. During the daytime, we ran it like a radio station. Every half hour, we did these reports. Sometimes in Philadelphia, every half hour, we do a Philadelphia 76ers report, a Phillies report, an Eagles report. We do a national news report. And at nighttime, of course, we do scores. And we would do scores every 15 minutes, except when games got into crunch time. Then we'd do scores every 10 minutes. But I also did, on the weekends, the New York service, because the New York sports phone was like the biggest in the nation. And we were sponsored, I think, by the New York Daily News at the time. We do scores every 5 minutes. A 1-minute report every 5 minutes. And we also had a national report, which was sponsored by Budweiser, right? So the Budweiser report, it was actually a 54-second report, because it would start out with this, the Budweiser slogan at the time was bring out your best, and this voice would come out with bring out your best. And at the end, the music would be playing throughout the whole entire report. Their music would come out, and it would suddenly it would end with Budweiser and something, I can't remember, the music would end. So you had 53 seconds to squeeze in all the scores. in case you haven't noticed, I talk a little fast. So in crunch time, I would hop off the Philadelphia service and I'd hop over to New York and do these reports 1 minute every 5 minutes. Scores every 5 minutes on the weekends, or I do the national score where I had those 53 to 54 seconds, and if I didn't get those scores in, that voice from Budweiser was singing in your ears, and people were paying, again, 5, 10, 15 cents for every one of these reports. Thousands and thousands of people would call because there was no ticker running at the bottom of your screen. This was even before ESPN. This is how people got their scores and the odds. So back in those days, we used to get scores from calling courtside every 5 to 10 minutes. We had stringers at games. We'd listen to games on the radio. Seriously, there wasn't like satellite TV. And we used to call Fairleigh Dickinson fairly ridiculous. What can I say? We discriminated against that poor university. Well, tonight, guys, I think it's going to be fairly ridiculous how they're going to get blown out by Gonzaga. Now, you know I have ridden Gonzaga all year long. I was wrong once. It happens. In the championship game of the West Coast Conference Tournament, yes, I actually lost one play involving Gonzaga this season. It happens to the best of us. But I'm more than willing to take Gonzaga tonight minus the 27.5 points in Salt Lake City, a team that's been idle since that March 12th loss against St. Mary's, a team that went 11-2 against the spread as a double-digit favorite in pre-conference play this season, in non-conference play, I should say, with the only failures coming against Illinois and Washington. A Fairleigh Dickinson team that, yes, you know, they rallied to beat Prairie View A&M on Tuesday in Dayton, and less than 48 hours later, they're now playing in altitude in Salt Lake City tonight. And let's remember, Virginia, yes, became the first ever number 1 seed to lose to a 16th seed last year. So that means the number 1 seeds are now 135-1 lifetime in the dance. And the average margin of victory for those number 1 seeds in those 135 victories and 1 defeat, 24.4 points. And Gonzaga is ready. I have no worries about Gonzaga winning this game. 92-48. Yes, I think it could be that big of a blowout. I would absolutely lay 27 points. I would lay 37 points because this is a guy, again, who has made a boatload of money betting Gonzaga this season. A boatload of money for you, telling you to bet Gonzaga this season. I have no qualms with laying the points against a tired team that celebrated like crazy its first ever big dance victory, and then immediately bust to the airport, came to Salt Lake City, had no time to prepare against a Gonzaga team that is absolutely ready. And remember, Killian Tilly has had all this extra time to rest, rehabilitate. He returned for the West Coast Conference Tournament after missing the final couple of weeks of the regular season because of another foot injury. He only played about 10.5 games this entire year. It just makes Gonzaga all the more dangerous. Now, does Fairleigh Dickinson have a great player in Darnell Edge who came up with 33 points on Tuesday? Yes. But you got Gonzaga with great guards, great lockdown guards who can put the clamps on him. And do you have a Fairleigh Dickinson team that is very good at shooting three-pointers? Yes, but they're not a volume three-point shooting team. And so what I mean is, although they are number 5 in the nation in terms of their shooting percentage from beyond the perimeter at 40.4%, they only shot 653s on the season. And out of 353 Division I teams, that ranks them 290th in the nation. Keep this in mind. Gonzaga, 27th in the nation, 27th in three-point defense. Gonzaga, tops in the nation in scoring, right? Number 1 in the nation in field goal offense in terms of shooting percentage. I think Gonzaga can name the score. I think this is a team that has just been raring to go after getting upset and silenced by St. Mary's in the West Coast Conference Championship game. And I think they're just going to roll tonight, just as you saw them do so many times in West Coast Conference play. And let's put it this way. If Fairleigh Dickinson played in the West Coast Conference, and there are some bad teams in the WCC, the worst team in the WCC would crush them day in, day out, game after game. Crush them. and Gonzaga is going to do the same tonight. So there you go. That's my complimentary play. Take it or leave it. I think it's a great play. And I sold it well, don't you think? Good luck, everybody, and talk to you again tomorrow.